Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Strategy Gaming Dojo, where we find, learn, and play one more turn of the great strategy games. Now, today I wanted to do something a little bit different and do a basic introduction. Maybe it's a reintroduction for some of you into John Tiller games. And maybe you've heard of John Tiller, maybe you haven't. He's a legend of the wargaming community. That stretches back into the 90s, but he has made a ton of war games from every era, every conflict, pretty much, stretching back to musket and pike days. And so the reason I'm talking to you about this today is that I think that his games have improved enough that I kind of wanted you to take another look at them if you've looked at them in the past or to give them a first look now. So my first brush with John Tiller games was several years back, and I bought a Civil War game, and I was really, really excited about it. I can't remember which campaign game of his that I bought, but I bought it, and I thought, oh, this is going to be great because he's known for his massive number of scenarios. Usually his games have over 200 scenarios to them, or you can play a campaign, the full campaign. And I was just like, this is going to be amazing. I can learn all of this history, which I really enjoy, and was really looking forward to it. So then I got it downloaded, and I opened it up, and this is what I saw. Well, let's put it this way. This is not exactly what I saw. It was much worse than this. Uh, for any of you that have played or used to play John Tiller games, you kind of know what I'm talking about here. It's like these little kind of plastic figurine kind of guys that you can barely see. You don't know what's going on. You don't know elevations or how, moving them is very difficult. Everything about it was difficult. I gave it about 15 to 20 minutes and I said, that's it. I'm never playing these games ever. I was so frustrated with the whole experience. And so a couple of years went by and I don't remember where I saw it, but I saw that John Tiller had partnered with a group called War Game Design Studios, and that War Game Design Studios were going to take these great games of his. And when I say great games, you may say, well, you just told me that they're terrible. His old campaign games looked pretty good in the mid 2000s for that time. It's just that the graphics never kept up with the times. They never improved at all. I mean, they were the same graphics that he put out in 2006 or 7 or 8. As generations of the PC went by, they just never improved. But, you know, Tiller was worth playing if you could, just because his games are so meticulously researched, and he's got a great game system that can be leveraged into every different time period of warfare, really in human history. He's he's come up with a great game system, and we'll talk about this up here in just a minute. He's come up with a great game system where if you learn this Civil War game that I've got up here, you can go and play the 7 Years War game. You can play an invasion of Japan, an alt history invasion of Japan in 1946. That's a game he's put out. You can play modern campaigns, Cold War gone hot. You basically you can or you can go play Napoleon. Once you learn this system, and I really, really think it's elegant. It's complicated yet simplistic enough that it's not that hard to learn. And we are going to be going through and learning that in a set of videos that I'm going to make that should only be 2 or 3 videos because it's a very simple system to learn once you kind of get the idea and hang of it. But you can go play any conflict anytime. So his games were worth playing, you couldn't look at them. You were looking at this and you're like, well, so what's going on? So War Game Design Studio came in, and when I say this is much better than what it used to look like, that's no joke. They've also, done this zoomed in 3D view, if this is your cup of tea. I'm telling you, I never play these games in 3D. I always play them in 2D. And now they didn't really used to have this view. When you played back in the day, you picked 2D or 3D, and kind of this, or maybe even really kind of more like this, which is the max zoomed out view, was what his games look like. You would basically go cross-eyed or have a migraine headache by the time you got done. But now Wargame Design Studio's gone in, they've worked on the contours, they've worked on the look, so you can tell elevations. Oh, sorry about that. They have kind of added this new nice looking 2D, like zoomed in 2D, where you can tell, okay, this is a leadership flag. You wouldn't know that now, but that's what it stands for. Oh, look, it's James Longstreet, Longstreet's Brigade. That's what this is, but you can tell that's what it is. These are cannon, you know. Let's look and see what they can see. Now you can do all these things. This is, they're visible hexes. So they've turned this into a modern hex and counter game, which is much better than what it used to be. So let's take this game. Right now, I've got up here Campaign Antietam is the name of the game. This just so happens to be a scenario called Blackburn's Ford. Seems appropriate. Blackburn's Ford happened immediately preceding the first battle of Bull Run. It was kind of the first major engagement of the Civil War, definitely the first major engagement of the Bull Run area that became what we know as the first battle of Bull Run that kicked off the war. Um, and so this scenario you see here, you can do this and you can do a lot more. So let's just hit new and look at all of the different scenarios, okay? So here's Blackburn Ford. You can pick that. You've got Bull Run Historical. You've got Bull Run where, and we can't read these right now. You have to do that from the main screen, but I don't want to bring that back up. But you could do 8 different versions of Bull Run that all have little different variances, right? You've got Second Bull Run, you've got Groveton, you've got the Battle of Antietam. Let's just go click on this for a second. Open that up. We'll say that we want the Union to be the AI and give them an advantage. And then we'll pull the Battle of Antietam up. It's a 40 turn scenario. But, I mean, look at this map. This is the complete Battle of Antietam. Now, you can't see the Union forces yet because we're playing the Confederates, but as you can see, you know, how big this game can get. You can also play campaigns where, depending on what happens here at the Battle of Antietam, and now here you see Union forces are showing up, it's still playing the Union turn. You can see the wheel spinning here. But I can still move around and look at all this stuff. Now you can see over here, kind of our fog of war. We don't know how many men they have. Um, so as you can see, these games can be massive if you want them to be, or you can play small little scenarios. You can play campaigns if you want, and they kind of dynamically. Oh wow, we've got gunfire. They're killing our guns. Um, how funny. I wasn't expecting that. It almost made me jump. Confederate turn, and then we could start moving this. Now, I am going to do a series of 2 or 3 videos. It depends if people like them, I may do more, but at least 2 or 3 introducing you to this game system because I know that this can look intimidating, but it's not. They have boiled down a game system into the most logical, simple way to do a complex war. Um, and so, this is all based on kind of the Microsoft Windows command section up here. But every single one of these things that you see up here in the menu list has a button right here. So they're kind of the same things, right? You don't have to learn like all of these menus and all of these and a bunch of hotkeys. They all are the same thing, sort of. So, if you look at command to top of stack, you could either click on it here, you could hit Control Y, it gives you the hotkey, or let's see if I can get it right. Or it's this one here, to top of stack. And you see the hotkey again, Control Y. That's one of the great things that Wargame Design Studios did is they really, really worked on this interface and making all of this make sense because a lot of his games before, again, just were very difficult to play. And so they've tried to work on that whole look and feel of the entire game. And, look, would it be crazy to play this way? I think so. But maybe you're into it. Maybe you like to look at this and, or maybe it's the kind of thing you give it orders in 2D, and then you go look at that. And I'm not saying that that looks like, Demon Souls or something. It doesn't. But if you're into Hex Encounter war games, you will not find a bigger selection or a better game system than this game system, if that's what you like. So anyway, I just kind of wanted to do a basic introduction of these, maybe, get you to take another look at them if you tried to play them years ago. Maybe try to get you to take a first look at them if you really don't know what they are, or you looked at them and they seemed kind of intimidating, or you didn't know exactly what you were getting yourself into. Um, I will put the link to John Tiller's website in the comments below this video. And like I said, I'm going to do 2 or 3 videos just showing you like basic movement, what all these, buttons mean. It's not nearly as complicated as you would think. You know, for instance, here we can turn bases on and off the units. It doesn't even have anything to apply to here because that's on 3D. If we couldn't tell what kind of terrain we're in, you can toggle the units on and off. You see what I mean? I mean, there are a lot of buttons, but there's not a ton to know um, with the way his game system works. You need to know how to move your lines. So let's just take this troop. Of course, he's fixed. Let's find somebody not fixed. This guy is not fixed. This is the 31st Georgia. He's part of Lawton's brigade. 203 men, strength 100, quality B. I'll describe what all this means, but it's just not that complicated. Clear, he's been spotted, what elevation he's at, which makes a difference. Um, how much ammo. You can click on this and learn more about the unit or more about the terrain and why that's important. Let's say that we want him to square up and get a better firing position on these guys here. You know, we would click on him, highlight it, turn him to the left, and you see the line, see how the counter just moves. It's not as if you have to do something really, crazy. You just hit this counterclockwise, and he moves again. You see, so the system is simple, yet it really does a lot of complex things. And you can play all these different conflicts um, once you know the basics. Because if you know how to play this Civil War game, the infantry in the World War II game, they may call it something slightly different, but it all works the same way. So anyway, just wanted to bring that to you today. You'll be seeing those kind of basic tutorials. Let's look at this game videos over the next week or so. And if you have any questions about these games or any, you want me to give you a recommendation, maybe you're into Napoleon and you're like, hey, which is the best game? Or if I like this, what should I be looking for? Just let me know down in the comments. So anyway, it's been a pleasure as always. This is Strategy Gaming Dojo. I'll talk to you next time.